Welcome, I'm David Viscott, and of course you know tonight's live, and we have a couple of surprises for you. I hope none of them have to do with the phone lines. That was quite a thing last week. And wouldn't you know it, you people seem to love to watch things happen when they go awry, but I tell you tonight things are working pretty good. And we have a lot of interesting calls, but we have a lot of interesting news too, Dottie, huh?
Well, I think we should tell our nighttime audience that on October the 26th, that's a Monday, we're going to start for 7 weeks doing a test of our show for daytime for an hour and a half every day, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., 5 days a week, which we are extremely excited about. And if it goes well, then who knows, maybe we'll be on the network. It's just local for now, but we're pretty excited.
So what we really need, everybody, is we need you to support us by being there when we're on every weekday, 9 to 10:30 in the morning, here.
Yeah,
That was a plug, incidentally, in case they didn't get that.
I don't have that many clothes. I'm a little concerned about that.
You'll get through it. What about this business? When is our last show at night?
Our last show at night is the 24th, just 2 days before we start, and
That's our second anniversary.
it's our second anniversary show, so it'll be a special show we'll have anyway. And I think it's a lucky launching for, we'll be here Saturday night, then Sunday we'll be home, and Monday morning we'll be here very bright and early to answer those phones.
It's been an amazing 2 years, hasn't it? I mean, this kind of a program shouldn't work. I mean, there's no reason why this should work. I mean, someone talking. But in fact, it's what people really need most, and I think when you fulfill a need, you do the most good. What do we have?
Well, we have a lot of different calls. I think first we're going to be talking to Angela on line 11, who is having some telephone problems in her life.
Angela?
Hello.
Hi, Angela.
Hi.
How old are you?
22.
What's wrong?
I work for a phone sex line, and I met a gentleman over the lines, and we started talking, and he lives in the East Coast, and we've been talking for like 6 months.
6 months.
Yes. And
On his dime.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he has an 800 number, so.
Well, what I mean is, does he call you as a client to talk?
At first it was like that as a client.
This isn't one of those $3 a minute relationships right now, is it?
No, not now.
Okay, so
No,
now
but
it's a regular relationship.
It was in the beginning, but now it's not. And
What's it like now?
Well, he's 41 years old, and his fantasy was that I was his daughter, and that I was 14. And as the months have gone by, I've still, like, excuse my language, but got him off over the phone, and he's regressed my age, and I go through with it because I
He's
do
regressed your age to what?
11. And what bothers me, and sometimes younger, what bothers me is that he has a daughter that is 11, and he's going through a divorce with his wife, supposedly because of me, because of the phone calls and the letters and the pictures we sent each other.
How do you feel being in this?
Guilty sometimes, at first guilty.
How do you feel about
because
it right? How do you feel about being in the relationship right now?
Very confused because I'm supposed to meet him next week, fly down there, and
Why would you want to? If I may be so bold as to ask.
because there's actually we talk about a lot more than just sex, and we get along really well.
You think?
I think.
You have no idea, you know. This is just a fantasy.
Well, what do you mean?
You're just a fantasy. You're not reality. He met you as an aberration.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be hurt and disappointed. Count on it. What are you expecting out of this?
It's gone really far.
What do you mean?
The words "I love you" have been exchanged.
How could you possibly say a thing like that? What does he love when he says he loves you? The fact that you play his 11-year-old daughter?
No.
What does he love?
supposedly he's told me it's much more than that.
But how could that be?
How could that not be? Why not?
Well, first of all, the first feelings you have about the relationship are guilt, and the second are confusion.
Hmm.
That's immediately a red flag. Do you have a boyfriend?
I broke up with my boyfriend like 2 months after I met this person on the phone.
Why?
Well, he had a drinking problem, and he lost his job in California, so he moved to Hawaii, but we
Okay.
still keep in contact.
So he moved out is why you broke up with him.
Yes.
Okay, so that's not quite the same thing.
Well, we were going to break up anyway because we were having lots of problems.
Okay. So what makes you think that this is going to work? I think it's a 50-50 chance. I mean, You do, huh?
yes.
Angela, why are you calling me if you're not worried?
I am worried. I am worried because in the back of my mind, I think about it. I think about his fantasy, and he tells me, I know it's just a fantasy. It's not anything I would actually go through. But he has an 11-year-old daughter, and his wife called me like 2 weeks ago and told me that she was going to kill herself and everything. Later on, I found out that she accused him of something about his daughter. He told me. He's very extremely honest with me. And his wife accused him of something. I don't know what. He didn't get into details.
So how honest is he if he doesn't tell you what he's accused of?
Oh, no, he told me that his wife told their psychologist and his parole officer about...
His parole officer?
hmm
What is his crime?
He used to be a gym teacher in a junior high,
Uh-huh.
and there's this 14-year-old girl that he became very fond of.
Uh-huh.
He was 37.
Okay. Angela,
What?
the man's a pervert.
He says he was sorry, and he's gone through therapy.
Yeah, but therapy didn't keep him from engaging in extraordinarily intense sexual fantasies about you as 11, and now he's attached to you.
He's obsessed.
This is a dangerous relationship, and you should end it. What do you need this in your life for?
It does give me the creeps once in a while.
If it
because-
gives you the creeps, that is the only message your heart tells you. The guy's a pervert. Come here.
What?
Come here. The guy's a pervert.
The sexual thing is just one faction of it.
Why are you in such denial over this? Are you this hard up? Are you this desperate that you're making your whole life stop for some guy 3,000 miles away who's implementing you as the force that caused his marriage to deteriorate and make you feel guilty about it? Is that caring about you? He screwed up his marriage, not you.
No, he told me. I mean,
Then
it's
why
been
is
on
he-
the rocks for years.
Yeah, but why? Yeah, but you feel guilty about it.
Yes,
You're being named as the correspondent. Right?
somewhat.
Somewhat. You're getting all of the blame, none of the benefits, and you're with a person who cannot give you anything but pain. Angela,
Hmm.
you're not listening. You're just pulling away from me.
How do you know that?
Because I can see you. Angela, you called me to hear the truth, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. This guy is as wrong for you as anything I could ever tell you. Wrong. Bad. And you're getting caught into an obsession. People who are, don't go but, people who are obsessive have a way of pulling other people in. And people who are lonely and needy, when they are attached to a person who is obsessive, get to believe that the obsession is actually love for them, when it has nothing to do with them. You are nothing more than an object, a screen on which he projects his feelings. This intensity of the relationship has nothing to do with you. It has entirely to do with him. And if you fall short of his expectations, you're in danger of physical violence.
He's not a violent person.
Guess what?
He's a pillar of his community. He's very well known.
Thanks. Some community.
Huh?
Some community.
Yeah.
Angela, you will call me again with a sadder, more truthful call than this, I'm afraid. But this is as wrong for you as anything I can think of.
Can I just ask you one more question about this?
Go ahead.
Okay, the one thing that really bothers me is when we talk about me being 11 and his daughter being 11. That really bothers me. And like a couple of months ago, he told me that his daughter got his period, and that really like bothered him. And I was just wondering if there's any correlation if when I talk to him about that, like if he pictures his daughter or anything like that.
Look, at best, this man is borderline. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know the difference between what he feels and what he perceives. And if he is so blurring and confusing you with his daughter, and he has a previous conviction of sexual abuse, and you are now the object in an obsessive love affair, you are in danger. Hear me. For God's sake, hear me.
Okay.
You don't want to hear me, do you?
No, I am listening to
All right.
her.
Don't have anything to do with him. Break off contact, and you will start getting the most desperate lines and calls. You won't believe it.
I've already tried to break it off, and I have gotten that.
I know. How would I know that? Because it's crazy on the other side. Angela, break off with this man. And if he threatens in any way, call his wife and contact his parole officer.
And tell them everything I know.
You better.
Because they don't know about what we talk about.
You better.
Okay.
This man is a danger.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for yelling at you, Angela.
All right. I think I needed it.
I think you did too.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Will Angela do it? I don't know. Obsessive love affairs, have a way of pulling the person in. Dottie, who do we have?
Hi, we have on line 13, we have Sherry, who's having some emotions that you normally wouldn't associate with sex.
Sherry?
Uh-huh.
Hiya, Sherry.
Hello.
How old are you, Sherry?
I'm 22.
What's going on?
Well, every day I feel disassociated with my body, like I'm out of my body. And then when I have sex with my boyfriend, all I do is cry, and I feel like a little girl.
What do you think that means?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm going crazy.
Is this the first relationship you've had?
No.
Is it the first relationship of its kind? Is there something different about this
Yeah.
one? What's different about it?
It's lasted, and I really love him.
Okay, so you're more vulnerable.
Uh-huh.
You're more trusting.
Uh-huh.
And when you're more trusting and you're at a point in the relationship where you're real close, you start to cry. What is the feeling of crying?
I'm scared.
Okay, scared of?
I don't know.
Oh, make your mind a blank and know something. Make it up. Scared of?
My dad?
Did you ever think that thought before?
Yeah.
Did your dad molest you?
I want to say yeah, but I don't know. I don't remember anything.
Did your dad molest you?
Yeah.
When?
I don't know.
No. Come on, no.
I don't know when.
Come here. I want you to know. Shut your eye. Be calm. And think of that feeling of anxiety you get when you're with your boyfriend. Okay? Now tell me about that feeling of anxiety.
I just feel like I want it to stop.
You want it to stop. And what is the voice inside you saying?
Stop. Help.
Help. Who should help you? Quick answer.
My mom?
Where is she?
Where's my mom?
Where is she?
Right now?
No, then.
Then?
When you're feeling the anxiety.
Not in the room.
Where is she?
In the front room.
In the front room. What's she doing?
Watching TV.
What time is it?
Late at night. Or then I think she's in bed. And I'm in my bed.
What does your room look like?
It's little.
How old are you in that room?
7.
So was you were 7 years old.
But I just don't understand why I have problems with my boyfriend and why I feel like I'm not in my body constantly. It's scary.
Because the feeling you had when you were a child was the wish to escape and not be in that body that was being touched.
But I don't remember it.
You are remembering with your body, and you're trying to push your body away to keep the memory from coming back. That's how it works.
It's just, I get all these thoughts in my head and then I deny them. I think I'm making it all up. I think I'm going crazy.
That's how people feel under these circumstances. You've got to start working this through. Often, people develop their first feelings, their first recollections of this shock of a childhood abuse when they're in a relationship where their guard is down. It's as if they've held up so much denial to keep the feeling from coming forward that it's only in a relationship where you really love and trust the person, and it's a long time, and you start getting really close, and you start having the feeling that you could really be with this person, that you lower your guard, and then as you lower the guard in the present, it also allows us feelings that have been hidden from the past to start coming through, and you attach the feelings from the past to the moment. So you think you're afraid of something happening in the bedroom with your boyfriend. And what the feeling is a recollection of the wish not to be in your body when you were a kid, and that's the feeling that comes back when you're an adult.
I don't understand why my heart will get to like 160 beats a minute.
That's anxiety, that's all that is.
Oh, it is?
Just anxiety. You're terrified. You're terrified to yell for help. What kind of relationship do you have with your dad now?
Not one at all.
Why not?
I'm always so creepy around.
You always feel creepy around
My
him.
whole life I have.
Well, what do you think that means?
He's a creep.
Well, if you feel creepy around someone like that, it may be that the feeling is the only memory you have. That feeling is not something that's happening in the present, unless he's looking at you, in a kind of sexual way, is he?
Yeah.
He
It
is.
seems like he does, yeah.
It seems like he does.
Yeah.
Well, the seeming, may be a continuation of his thought process about you. Have you ever been in psychotherapy?
No, a little bit, but
For what?
disassociating with my body.
And did they ever touch on this subject?
A little bit, not much.
But
I
this is
dropped out of it.
why?
I don't know, it just made me so weird and out of control.
Okay, that's why. You've got to go back. You've got to work this through. Because if you want a happy life and a life where you feel like you're best, you've got to deal with this issue and bring it home so that you feel like a complete person.
I'm just afraid I'll never feel like I'm in my body. It's scary every single day.
Well, the reason you're having that feeling is because you're trying to push away some feeling from the past. Once you understand the feeling of the past and allow the memories to return, the disassociation will clear up and you'll be whole again, because you're trying to split off the part of your experience that was painful to you. So if you stay on, we're going to get you some help in therapy, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Amazing, huh? The past continues to intrude on your life when you don't settle the problem. And then it gets confusing because you don't know whether the feelings that are intruding from the past are coming from the past or coming from the present. And then you act wrongly, you act impulsively. People don't understand you and you think you're going crazy. You're really not. You're just remembering with your body what your mind won't let in. Stay tuned, a lot more coming up. David Viscott, and welcome back. Interesting start to the program, huh? Dottie.
Okay.
Hi, David. Both
Give me that box.
both of those first callers were
Tighten the
women
bra,
who were
Jan.
22 years
Good, good.
old, and just
Go,
seems
go,
like
Daddy. Keep on going. Keep
life
on going,
is
keep on
really,
going, keep on
really
going.
tough right now
Give us the lower center.
for
So lower center.
women who are, or anybody young. These kind of problems didn't used to happen for people this age, I don't think.
I
Anyway.
don't know whether that's the
Tighter,
openness
Ron,
of the
tighter.
time or whether
Tighter,
or not
tighter.
I can't hear words.
it's people.
Don't talk.
I don't know whether it's openness of the time or people being more prompted to talk about things they're hearing, for instance, on programs like this. But anyhow, it's a good sign, not a bad sign, because if you let it all out, things get better. Who's next?
Yeah.
Check.
On line 6, I have Marshall, who is a man who is real attracted to
Ready,
teenage boys.
And dissolve.
Marshall.
Hey, David.
Hi, Marshall. How old are you, Marshall?
45.
Why are you calling?
David, I came out of the closet 5 years ago, but it didn't turn out the way I thought it would. I seem to be stuck. I'm obsessed with young boys, and I don't mean boys, I mean teenagers.
Tell me what that means exactly.
17, 18, 19.
But where does that obsession take you?
It takes me to areas of this community where I patronize hustlers.
And that's what you're interested in?
Well, that seems to be what I'm doing. What I'm interested in is having a loving, caring relationship with a peer, someone I can talk with, not someone I can just buy sex from.
Okay. When did you first realize that you were gay? When did you first suspect, I should say?
Well, it was a process, but during my third marriage, I got sober for a while and seemed to have cross-addicted to, well, during that period that I was sober, at the end of that marriage, I started patronizing in a kind of obsessive way these young men on the boulevard.
Besides being dangerous in every way you can think of,
Yes.
there's something. So it was 5 years ago, you were 40 years old, and you say you knew at that time that you were gay.
Yes, and I got sober, and, rigorous honesty is a part of it, and
Yeah.
so I had to get honest.
Okay, so, but my guess is that you had fears about this, probably that were much older than that realization.
Oh, yeah.
Go back to the fears. How old were you when you started to have the fears?
Oh. Well, I was raised in the South, and when I was 13 or 14, I had a relationship with my brother's friend, and
How old was he?
he was 13 or 14.
Uh-huh.
And,
how often did you think about that relationship over the years?
well, it was my first sexual experience, and it was, you mean, how much do I think about it now?
How much did you over the years?
It came back to me often.
And when it came back, the feeling you had?
Was that it was exciting. It was a fantasy, a masturbatory fantasy.
Okay, so in other words, that's where you've been your whole life.
Yeah, see, yeah.
And what you do when you pursue these young boys is you try to revisit the original scene of the crime, so to speak.
So to speak.
The wish was perhaps that you could have started your life as a gay person without the dishonesty, and maybe have had a relationship and the kind of love that you particularly wanted earlier in life instead of being failure in the straight life.
Yeah.
So what this obsession is, it may in fact be an obsession about death and dying.
Yeah, about getting old, because being 45 and being gay is not fashionable.
So
in
the
this city.
so the wish is to have been the age of the people that you were with, and they confirm youthfulness on you.
Yeah.
Does that interpretation ring true in terms of what you transact emotionally with these young men?
Yes.
What goes on between you emotionally?
Well, after sex, I just become some sort of father surrogate. We talk about the things that I talk with my young friends who are teenagers who are straight. It's not a relationship. It doesn't feel like the way I talk to my adult friends.
And in your sexual activity with these young hustlers,
Mm-hmm.
do you repeat the fantasy that you kept all those years?
It depends on the individual and how much.
But is that the most satisfying or most exciting of the interchanges?
Yeah. I mean, I'm only interested in safe sex, and ironically, when I was 13, we had safe sex, and that's what I recreate. I don't
All right.
go beyond that.
So you really do recreate the past.
Yeah.
So what you really must be dealing with, let's now talk about real things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Come here. I want to talk about this because this is important. Real things.
Yeah.
you have a yearning, a deep yearning and loneliness that is your guiding emotion all the time. It's not just an obsession. It's a sense of isolation. It's a sense that there's never going to be anyone out there for you.
I do feel that.
Speak up.
I do feel that way.
Yeah. And that must be very hard to live with.
Yeah, I try to feel a part of, but I often feel less than.
Okay. When you're pursuing, when you get in the car and you drive up and down the boulevard, right?
I know it's my that's the high.
Well, the high is the hope. But before you do that, what is the obsession? Before you get in the car and actually go chicken hawking, I believe they call it.
That's what they call it.
What are you doing?
I'm usually just. It happens all the time, David.
But before you do it, what's the feeling that prompts you into action? The last little feeling that says, "Oh, I'm going." Just
This is all I get.
say again.
That this is all I get. That this is, that it's like when you're obsessed and you say, "Oh, what difference does it make? At least this will make me happy." It's an
It's
obsession.
giving in to the desperation over your loneliness.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what the problem is. Do you have any friends your own age, pal?
Sure.
Why not try to accept your own mortality and your own age a little, and try to function a little better with the people who are your own age? I think you'd feel a lot more normal, a lot less desperate, but sad, because you have to mourn the fact that you're 45.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Does this help?
It does, David. Thanks.
Okay. Take care, Marshall.
Bye.
Don't ever be put off by the quality of the symptom. Someone can call up and have an aberration or a strange obsession or an unusual practice. Always listen to the underlying feeling, the pain, the desperation, because that's what makes us all kin. We all share those same feelings, but we resolve our problems and answer those questions in our own way, and that's our uniqueness. And to do it in a way that's damaging to ourselves is to take something out of your life and to lose a sense of self-respect. You have to have self-esteem. You cannot do things that undermine yourself. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm David Viscott, and we certainly have an interesting group of people ahead, don't we, Dottie?
Yes, we do. On line 2, we have Kelly, who is having some sexual problems with her 5-year-old.
Sexual problems with a 5-year-old, or is 5-year-olds having sexual problems? Anyhow, Kelly, what's going on?
Well, my son was molested for a year
By
between the ages of 2 and 3
by whom?
by my best friend's daughter, who was 13 at the time, and now she's 14.
She was the babysitter.
Yes, on weekends and evenings, and not like every day of the week. And anyway,
In a loving way. I know that sounds peculiar to say, but
yes, never like intercourse, just mostly orally and kissing and stuff. And it surprised us very much. Her name is Kelly too, and she, anytime that we would bring up any kind of sex or anything, she'd scream and run out of the room like it was some disgusting thing. But anyways, and
but anyways, this is important. So the kid, anytime, how would sex be brought up in front of a 3 or 4-year-old?
no, not my son, her daughter.
Anytime sex would be brought up in front of her?
Anytime, like, she would say, "Oh, I like this guy," or anything like that. "You're not going to have sex with him, are you?" And scream and run out of the room.
Who would say that?
Kelly,
She would,
her daughter, my best friend's
and
daughter.
she would say what? Let me hear it again.
Like, "You're not going to have sex with him, are you?" And scream and run out of the room. She would say, like, she liked this guy at work.
Who would say you're not going to have sex with him?
Her daughter.
My best friend's daughter, Kelly.
And who would be talking about it to begin with?
My best friend.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, anyways.
You got a disturbed child there, by the way.
Okay. Well, and then when I found out, when he told me that he was being molested by her, it eventually...
How did he tell her? What did he say?
Well, I was pulling up his shorts one night, and he asked me if I wanted to eat his pee-pee and make it all gone. And I said, well, no. And he said, well, Kelly eats my pee-pee and makes it all gone. So the next day, I called the child abuse, and they came out, and they said that he had definitely been molested. And
Speak up, please.
okay, and he had to go to a hospital, and he was there for 3 months.
In a hospital?
Right.
What did they do there for him?
Play therapy, trying to get to where he could work it out. He was so terrible. I mean, he was always trying to set himself on fire. He wanted anything he could set himself on fire with. He was doing everything he was not supposed to do over and over and over again all day.
Okay, and that went on. What age was he when he was in the hospital?
3.
Okay, and what's he like now? Was he better when he got out?
Yeah, he was better when he got out. He was taking medication.
What was he taking?
I can't remember. It's been 2 years. But he wasn't taking Ritalin. I know that. But he calmed down and made him real sleepy and groggy all the time.
I'll bet.
And then they took him off it 2 months after he was out of the hospital. And then he was really doing a lot better. I mean, listening, paying attention, appropriate behaviors, all those things. And then I started taking care of my grandmother. So we moved in to take care of my grandmother. And now he has just went completely downhill.
Okay, when did you move in to take care of your grandmother?
2 months ago.
And why are you doing that?
Because she's very ill.
And no one else can take care of her?
No.
Why not?
Because everyone else is married and has too much to do to take care of her.
You have a son who needs you to be a therapeutic mother for the rest of his childhood.
But why is that?
Why is what?
Well, because when we went through the hospital and he was there for 3 months.
Your son has been damaged.
Exactly.
And that means your son needs to be held on the steadiest course possible.
But what is that steady course?
The situation that he was comfortable with. You had him in a good place, and that's the place he should be in. Go back to that place.
But the thing is that the only comfortable place for Jason is 24-hour-a-day my attention.
And that's what he needs right now.
But for how long?
You've got to have him in therapy, and you have to be in therapy with him.
But we did that, and the doctor told us that it wasn't until he was 17 or 18 that he might need to see him again.
Except that circumstances have turned out that indicate that that's not true. Isn't that right?
Well, I don't know.
Well, why would you be calling and saying he's gone amok again?
Well, the reason I'm calling is because now he has a step-cousin who's a boy, and he was doing things with him sexually.
But that's the way this is. And he needs to be in treatment, and he'll probably need to be in treatment all through childhood.
Well,
I know it's nice to think that the hospitalization fixed him up, but it hasn't.
no, he still went for 6 months afterwards.
But that doesn't mean anything. You don't... Look, hear me.
Okay,
No, you have to hear me.
Okay.
We are not magicians. We can say, okay, take the medicine and you'll be better. But you may not be better. Each case is its own story. And your son needs attention now. Just because someone said he's not going to need attention until he was 17, and he's having sex with other boys now at 5 years old, which is very common for children to become hypersexualized after molestation of this kind.
But it's not just boys. He did it with his 2-year-old cousin today. They were caught in the shower, and he was kissing her neck.
Hypersexualization is a byproduct of childhood abuse. I mean, when you see a child becoming hypersexual, the child's been abused.
So, if I put him back in therapy, then he's going to be okay.
I don't know, but he'll start being under control and talk out his feelings. When he's 17, he's going to be I don't pick an age just because you mentioned it, but in his teens, he's still going to be needed to be treatment. This is a lifelong problem. And you have to accept that and get through the denial. What happened to the girl?
Well, they arrested her, and she has to go to, well, as far as I know, I have no contact with them now, but she had to go to therapy 3 times a week. And a boy named Jason molested her when she was little, and her mother did nothing about it.
But that's the way this is. It perpetrates this whole situation.
I mean,
Her name is Kelly, your name is Kelly, she was molested by a guy named Jason, and your son's name is Jason.
Exactly.
But you know what that illustrates?
No.
Those coincidences are not coincidences. They reflect a kind of thinking that may be the precursor of borderline character disorder, where a person is attached to out of very slim similarities. He was a tall man, so you're attracted to a tall man. And I think your son will benefit greatly from continuing help. Conversely, if you don't get it, it'll be very, very tragic. Dottie?
I don't know the line. I have Cindy, who's 38 years old, and her daughter, Teresa, who's 14 on the line. Teresa just ran away and was brought back tonight. But let me check which line that is. Which line is that, you guys? Line 10, David.
Okay, so this is Teresa?
This is Cindy, and I'm 30.
Okay, Cindy. Thanks for helping. What's wrong? Your daughter ran away and was returned. What's that all about?
She ran away Monday. She says she didn't run away, but she did. She came, and the police brought her home tonight, and I don't know what to do.
Why'd she run away?
I really don't know. I mean,
How could you not know?
well, because she says it's because her friend told her that I didn't want her to come home, but I think it's more than that.
Okay, so you think it's more than that, so what else could it be? Guess. Make it.
I don't know.
Can I tell you something,
Maybe
Cindy?
she wants attention.
Cindy,
Yes.
you know much more about this than you're letting on, right? Just trust that you do, okay?
Okay.
All right. So this is a problem kid, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. And you have a problem relationship with her, right?
Yeah.
And do you argue a lot?
Yeah.
Do you get angry with her?
Yeah, I get angry. I think I get frustrated more than angry.
And when you're frustrated, do you say things to her?
No, I don't say bad things to her.
You don't.
No, she'll tell you that I don't.
Okay.
I don't say, I don't call her names or anything like that.
No, but do you say things to her when you're angry at her?
I don't know. Not bad things, no.
What do you say?
Well, it depends on the thing.
What do you say?
Okay,
Don't make me go hunting. I don't have a...
Okay, I tell her that, she needs to be more responsible and things like that.
Okay, so you call her irresponsible. What else?
No, I don't call her irresponsible. I say she needs to learn to be more responsible.
That's calling her irresponsible.
Okay.
To a certain kind of kid, it is.
Yeah, I suppose.
To the kind of kid who would run away, it is.
I tell her that she needs to have more faith in herself. She needs to believe in herself, because if she doesn't, then other people won't.
She's how old?
She'll be 14 next week.
Wonderful age.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She's been in the hospital twice.
For what?
Depression.
Why?
She's had a hard life, I think.
Explain that.
Well, she's she's lived with her father and I back and forth, back and forth, back and forth because of the wonderful court system that we have.
Yeah, wait a second. You're not being honest.
Yeah, I am.
No, you're not.
Okay.
Okay, Cindy, let's deal with the truth now, all right? Your daughter's been in the hospital twice, right? For depression. Now, surely, when your daughter's in the hospital for an emotional disturbance, one of the doctors in the hospital will talk to you, right?
Oh, yeah.
And when they talk to you, they usually tell you what's going on, right?
Yeah,
So why is it you act like you don't know anything?
because you don't understand. She was fine until probably 2 weeks ago. Everything was fine.
Wait a second. A kid who's been in the hospital twice for depression at 14, everything is not fine. When you get out of the hospital, you're not better, you're coping better.
Well, yeah, she
So
was
the-
handling things a lot better.
All right, so the problem that existed before is probably going on now?
Yeah, but when you ask her that, she says it's not so.
But we know from understanding how emotional problems work that the problem that's bugging you is the problem that's bugging you.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
You're in denial, my friend.
It's possible. I don't know. I don't think so because I know
What?
what's wrong with her. But
Well, you said you had no idea. What's wrong with her? Come on.
first of all, I think she's very spoiled. But she just
Yeah,
has,
but spoiled doesn't make a kid hospitalizably depressed.
you know what it is? Because she thinks that nobody wants her. She thinks nobody wants her. She thinks nobody loves her.
Okay, so she has very low self-esteem.
Right.
Okay. What else does she have? What else did they tell you in the hospital?
They said that she has a problem attaching to a parental figure.
What does that mean in English?
That means that it's hard for her to become close to her parents, or I guess to anybody for that matter.
So she doesn't trust you.
Right,
That means she's going to be testing you.
right.
Okay, so what does that suggest to you?
That she's going to test me like she's been doing. She's going to do everything she can to see if I'll send her away.
And do you send her away?
I haven't yet.
Have you threatened?
Yeah.
Would
I
you
did this time.
Would you threaten to send her away?
Well, this time I told her either I didn't tell. I told her I was going to send her to a girls' home or I was going to send her to her aunt or somebody because if she couldn't behave here, then I didn't know what to do to help her.
Okay, so she's going to cross that line and see
Yeah.
if you, okay? So what you've done is you've set up a confrontation. She's going to cross the line.
Right.
And are you going to send her away?
Well, that's what I don't know. I mean, that's
Are you
what
going to send her away?
I don't want to.
Then don't make stupid comments like that, my dear.
But I don't know what to do.
I know you don't know what to do. What you do is you talk to your kid and you say, look, I can't control you. If you want to run away, you can run away. I love you and I'm worried sick about you. I just care about you so much. I know you've had a tough time, and I know that anything I say to you is not going to go down right because you think I don't love you, and you're hearing from your friends that I don't love you, and you're expecting to be rejected. How can we build trust together?
And see,
Don't threaten to send her away. First of all, you're not going to do it, and she's going to use the threat as proof. So since you're not going to do it, why prove to her that you don't love her?
Yeah, I understand that, but it's just so frustrating sometimes.
Say you're frustrated.
Well-
Tell her she won. No, hear me. Tell her she won. Say, I lost. You won. You want to run away. I can't stop you. I don't know what you're trying to prove, but I can't stop you. I'm worried sick. My stomach's turning. I get nauseous thinking about it, but I can't stop you. What is it you want to do? Do you want to find out whether I love you? You're hurting me by running away. This anxiety keeps me up nights. I'm worried. I'm scared. I don't know what to do with myself. I feel like a failure as a parent. I feel like I haven't done enough for you. I feel like I damaged you with the divorce. I think the legal systems have really trammeled you. But I don't know what to do with you. Don't you understand? I love you, but I'm powerless. If you want to make me look bad and run away, you can make me look bad and run away, but what's the point? The police will just send you back. I'm not going to send you away. Go run away as much as you want. The door is open, but come back. But don't threaten her. This is a kid with low self-esteem whose friends have the inside track. And guess what? You need to, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see a therapist.
We do have a therapist.
Right now?
We do have a therapist. We're waiting to get visits authorized.
You need to talk about your sense of powerlessness and your anger at your daughter. That's what she's testing and picking up. That should be the central work of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I understand. I believe that.
Then do it.
But I'm trying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're not really.
Yes, we are. Really, we really are.
No, not if you're threatening her.
Well, yeah, I see what you're saying in that sense. Right.
And in that sense, you're setting her up to test you. If you threaten her, she's going to test you. And this problem, this runaway, I'm sorry, is your bad management as much as it is her rebellion. Try to accept that.
Well, I believe that, and I understand that.
Okay, so stop threatening her. Tell her you love her. Put your arms around her and say, God, I'm glad you're home. You know, I've been worried sick, and I was so angry at you for leaving. I don't know what to do with myself. But come from your hurt, not your anger, and this will stand the best chance of working out. We're going to be right back. You stay with us. Welcome back. I don't know whether I want to have a 14-year-old kid again in my life.
Well, I listened so carefully to that call because in my own life, my younger daughter ran away several times and was gone for weeks at a time. And I ended up going to a group called Tough Love because I just felt so isolated and desperate, and I didn't want to tell any of my friends because I was ashamed of it. And it's such a tough time. It is terrible.
Well, I didn't think this was a case for tough love. I think it was a case for increasing the level of honesty. I thought this woman was not really in touch. I'm really, you know, when I said don't do a stupid thing, I didn't say she was stupid, but what I really meant to say is if you're not going to follow through and you're going to say something angry to a kid, the kid will push you to the point where you start to follow through. It's very tough with a 14-year-old who does not have good self-esteem, because what they're going to do is they're going to reach out and act it out in every single way they can. And if you become a willing foil to their acting out, you cause it to get worse. Sometimes you need to let them go. A lot of these kids will act in a very protective way of themselves. They'll go to a friend's house. They'll have a better setup than they have in your own home, and all they want you to do is suffer. So you have to be sure that you are aware of what they're doing and not make false threats.
But no matter what happens, no matter how you deal with it, when they're gone and you're out of contact, it's a nightmare when they're that age. No matter what you're doing, that's the worst.
There's a Yiddish proverb that says, to have children is to have hostages to fate. Who's next?
We have Bill on line 7 who just tonight had one of those nightmare experiences that happens in Los Angeles.
Bill?
Yes, David.
Hi, Bill. What happened?
My wife, Margot, and I were in our car at the gas station about 11 o'clock, and it filled up and tried to turn the car on. The car wouldn't start. The battery was dead. And about 5 minutes after that, I had the window open, and two guys came up to the window with an automatic machine gun pistol and said, give me your billfold or I'll kill you.
What'd you do?
And I gave them the billfold, and they jumped in the car and took off.
Weren't you lucky?
Yes.
This was about an hour ago?
This was at 11 o'clock.
And you've reported it?
Reported it, and police came and filled out the report, and AAA came and got our car started, and we came home, and I've just been...
Well, you got your car...
My chest has been tight, my stomach has been tearing up.
Did you get your car back?
Oh, yeah, I had the car... We drove the car home, but I've still got to figure out what the problem is with the battery.
Okay. Well, it's good to figure out what the battery is tomorrow. That's a nice way to make you feel secure. You got to keep fuel in your tank, and you got to keep your car functional, right?
Yeah.
Tell me what you're feeling. physically?
I feel overwhelmed,
Oh, I'll bet.
and I feel angry.
Mm-hmm.
I feel violated, like my wife just said, like I've been raped.
Go ahead.
And
What's this business in your chest again?
yeah, and I feel just like, well, I feel like it's just been a constant progression of things over the last 3 months. My wife's been in the hospital 3 times. We thought she had cancer. Fortunately, we found out yesterday that there was a misdiagnosis the first time, and
That's great.
It's just and that she doesn't have cancer, and
That's
and
great.
It's just a sum of a whole bunch of things that have just been. The car's been in the shop 3 times in 2 months, and again now on Monday, and just.
Wait a
When
second.
is this going to stop?
When is it going to stop? You mean the good news about your wife?
That's good news.
Yeah, well-
that's the best news.
well,
But
here-
I thought,
Would you go through this event again to hear that news if you hadn't known she
Yes.
didn't have... Of course. So a really wonderful thing has happened.
yes,
You've been delivered.
yes,
You've been spared.
yes,
Isn't that wonderful?
yes.
And you've been treated terribly tonight.
Yeah,
I'm glad you can laugh. That's good. You cr-
terribly tonight, but
I know, I can hear that.
hopefully tomorrow's better. I just thought back of when the same thing happened to you,
I know.
and how did you deal? How long did it take to get past it?
Well, I had a gun at my head by an incoherent gunman who refused to believe that I didn't have the keys to the car he wanted. So he proceeded to beat me up, and someone else proceeded to come over and kick my ribs in. That was very uncomfortable. Okay? And I faked a heart attack to get out of that, as you know.
Right.
But afterwards, you know, I felt violated. I, of course, had chest pain, but who wouldn't? I had a couple of cracked ribs. I was glad to be alive. And I was feeling very vulnerable. So I started to look at those areas in my life where I could protect myself better. I raised my level of awareness. And I tried to do things to help people. I formed a group called UP, which is to help develop urban progress for the city of Los Angeles. And we have about 600 volunteers building youth centers and doing progressive things. I just wanted to channel that energy into something positive, so that if you want to sit around and make yourself miserable, you can. Now, of course, you're still going to have all kinds of angry feelings returning. Like, this is a post-traumatic stress situation. So you're going to have that machine gun in your face mentally for weeks, months, maybe a year. Off and on. It'll get less. Don't push it out of the way. Just say, it's past, and I had good news the same day. Let the good news and your survival be the reality that you embrace. And don't push the bad away. It will gradually fade if you do not resist it.
How do I keep from not wanting to get a gun and be ready in the event that happens again?
Well, the point is, if you get a gun, the chances are the person you're most likely to shoot is someone you love.
Well, that don't.
A friend
That I
came.
know what to do.
A friend came over and gave me a pistol. I was more afraid of that pistol in my house than anything else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to get to a place of inner calm at your own level. Accept that you're a survivor and let go of this. And that means it's a process of letting go. You don't do it tonight. Tonight's too soon. It's with you. Talk about it to people. Tell them what happened. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. And get that battery fixed, pal. And if the car can't get fixed, get a new car. Any kind of car, but make one that runs.
Yes.
You want to be able to protect yourself.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling, Bill. I'm glad you could call.
Thank you.
Right? You stay tuned. We've got a lot coming up in the next hour. Good stuff.